My name is Hae-young Yoon, and I'm a research associate professor at UNL. I teach at the Glencorf School of Music.
My name is Hae-won. I'm assistant professor of practice of dance at Glencorf School of Music.
Hae-won and I have been thinking about doing a project together since last year when we collaborated on another project. This project involves kind of a joint choreography composition by me and Hae-won together, where I create music and she creates dance, and we do this together. So we come up with the structure for it, we come up with different sounds, different motions together, and then we kind of improvise together and come up with materials that work for the performance. So the name of the performance, the title is Desert of My Own Self.
Let's talk about this inspiration
Yeah.
for the Act 1.
Yeah.
So how do they start? Remember?
I don't know. I can't
Really?
remember. I remember
can't
just
really
sitting
remember
and what I remember is that and you know, for me, it was such a blessing to be able to start this process of making up music with a dancer, actually, a choreographer, because if I had to do it on my own for other musicians to perform, I think I would have just like froze. You know?
Well, you never know.
Well, maybe, I don't know.
But,
yeah.
so
But
how did they start?
I
think
remember I remember we kind of talked about like the overall structure, the
Right.
outline of it first, right?
I think we had the theme about desert, right?
And also there is a in folk singing tradition called pansori in Korea. It's usually done by a single singer and a drummer. So there is a lot of like kind of back and forth between the singer and the drummer, right? So you know, when the singer sings something, tells a storyline, the drummer might hit the drum and then I'll go whoa, like this, right? So I've been kind of using that, kind of hitting my violin with my bow and then giving the vocal kind of exclamation as a part of the improvisation, which has been a lot of fun. The other solo violin piece is a piece by J.S. Bach, and he wrote 6 pieces for solo violin, and I'm playing one of them. It has 4 different movements, and this repertoire, which is kind of revered by all violinists, it's like the pinnacle of just everything that a musician can kind of give. These pieces kind of hold that in their world, I guess. So when you're playing a solo violin piece by Bach, there is a lot of kind of self-conversations or self-dialogue that you must have. And, Hae-won and I, when we're kind of talking about these pieces and how we want the performance to kind of be, we talked about that. We talked about how this idea of self-discovery is something that's very important to both of us.
And I had this idea, like, instead of having like proscenium setting, if we can have more like a community setting, so like set up the chairs in a circle so that we can actually interact with people. And I think you also brought up this madang idea. And I think madang is another form that we kind of adapted for our project. So I think we kind of started from there and then like respond to each other's.
Yeah, and madang is a Korean concept, right? And it's a way that performances usually are shared with one another. So what's really neat about the space is that there's no sense of boundaries, right? So everything is kind of it's very porous, right? So there's a lot of interaction going back and forth from the audience and the performers, right? Which is really amazing, and also between audience members too.
Yeah.